CPAC is back, and so are we. The breakdown starts now. Good evening and welcome to The Breakdown. I'm Tara Setmayer. This is the Rick Wilson, and we are thrilled to be back with you during this CPAC annual nutso kook conference week because there's never a shortage of things for us to talk about, Rick, right? We've got so many things to cover tonight. Obviously, the show will be CPAC heavy just because that's what's happening, but we've got CPAC. We've got DeSantis, we've got the FoxNews scandal happening this week, and we have a new Lincoln Project ad that we're going to debut for you in a few. But Rick, I think, as always, we have to run one of our staples here at The Breakdown. Last week in the Republican Party.
Welcome back, folks.
Welcome back.
The most mistreated group of people in the United States today are white males.
I still don't know what a Venn diagram is. I just don't know.
We're bringing thousands of bottles of water, Trump water, actually, most of it.
What makes you a better president than the former president? What's your answer?
So I know you've heard this, but I don't kick sideways, I kick forward.
Clearly, you think you're a better option than he is, or you wouldn't have gotten into the race. So where do you two differ?
I don't focus on President Trump.
Boot edge. You know what you call him? Boot edge.
He's the guy that had no business running for president, but they let him do that because he was gay and they check off a box. And then he didn't win, he's the gay guy, so we got to give him something. Let's make him transportation secretary.
Well, it turns out leprechauns exist not just on cereal boxes. There are a lot of people who believe they have seen a leprechaun, or as they're known in some countries as an elf.
We have derailment after train derailment with environmental disasters. No one asking if it's maybe the Russians retaliating after the article came out about us possibly attacking the Nord Stream 2 pipeline.
The idea that Americans and that American children would look to the sky and see a Chinese spy balloon looking back at them?
I encourage your audience to take some time and play with ChatGPT, which should really be called ChatDNC.
And so they would have us all live in caves eating crickets because of a
gentleman's time has expired.
0.01%, and take away our stoves right on top of that right now.
The Democrats and the left want businesses to have to hire based on skin color, ethnicity, or even what gender they identify.
If you haven't seen the tape of him ordering at McDonald's in East Palestine, treat yourself.
So I know this menu better than you do, okay? I probably know it better than anybody in here.
Well, I respect the Speaker's commitment to take Social Security and Medicare off the table for the debt ceiling negotiations. We've got to put them on the table in the long term.
They have a hat. Trump was right about everything. And when you think about it, I was.
Ethnicity.
Oh, Rick.
Y'all missed it. We missed it too.
Oh, man.
Honest answer.
Good God, that Marjorie Taylor Greene, man, we've really just been dragging her right.
She is a nonstop gaffe machine.
God, she's awful.
How do you wake up every morning and not think, wow, how will I beclown myself today? The other night when she's like trying to pronounce numbers and it's like a bibbity badillion.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, what? But, in a lot of our MSNBC appearances and stuff, she's a subject matter, obviously, because she's now, one of the leaders of the party. But yeah. I said that, I guess one of the upsides to her being on the committees is that we get to hear more from her now, and we hear how asinine and ignorant and stupid she is and the things that come out of her mouth. I mean, did you see her berating the Georgia official this week about election fraud? And she's like, well, I believe there was election fraud and thousands of dead people died because were voted, and I'm from Georgia. Like, shut up. You're saying it was Gabe Sterling. It was Gabe Sterling. He was one of the brave Republican officials in Georgia that said no to the whole Trump scheme. And she just made an ass of herself, and she's proud of it. She's proud of it.
Every day I think about Kevin McCarthy. He must wake up like a guy with a fox with his paw caught in a trap and think about gnawing it off to get away from her. I mean,
Oh,
good God.
Well, he loves her. Speaking of foxes, he said that if he were in a foxhole in a fight, that he'd want her next to him. So,
No one
I
says that.
mean,
No sane person. Kevin, get help.
yeah, exactly. So of course, Marjorie Taylor Greene leads me into the CPAC conference this week because it's happening as we speak. It started yesterday. It's back in the DC area after being in Florida for a couple of years, and everyone knows that they've now expanded the franchise. It's international, so they're franchising their ignorance and hatred. And
It's just because Matt likes to meet the exotic, strapping advanced men from foreign nations.
Oh my. Oh my. Well, Rick, I think then we should explain for those who are unfamiliar with the scandal. So CPAC is not just the crazies meeting up again, which are now the mainstream Republican Party. Let's be clear about that. But there's also a cloud of scandal over CPAC this year. And no, it's not something that Donald Trump said or his, potential indictment or anything like that. It's actually Matt Schlapp got himself into some trouble. Rick, I know
Matt
you
Schlapp
like
was the longtime head of CPAC. When he was campaigning, he went down to Georgia to campaign for Herschel Walker, and the engaged in what has literally been described as aggressively rubbing the young man's junk and inviting him back to his hotel room for a drink, making a very awkward, uncomfortable pass at this guy whose identity in the lawsuits has been retained, but it's out there. People are trying to make him an issue.
Caroline Wren, by the way, she was a Trumper. She's this person, and the Schlapps, when this guy filed the lawsuit against them, she doxed him online. And now
Caroline Wren is now a party to the lawsuit as well.
Right.
And she is also one of the people who was in the Bannon war room coordinating the January 6th attack. So, Caroline, you may have bigger fish to fry as the days and weeks pass. I think your little defamation problem will be much more seriously compounded by, I don't know, your little conspiracy to overthrow the United States government problem. But
that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. Oh, it sounds like Rick is
all right. So it looks like we just had a little gap in the broadcast. CPAC is under a cloud. We don't know whether Matt is going to continue to try to play this thing out as the leader of America's Family Values Conference. But here we are. So,
yes.
And as CPAC started, and I've been to CPAC, I don't know how many times. I started going to CPAC in the mid 80s when I was in college in DC.
You have me beat on that.
And
it was 94.
It was always one of these.
Okay, so the gremlins are in Rick's internet as it does happen from time to time. I'll pick up from there. So Rick is a little older than me and started going to CPAC in the 80s. That was the heyday of Reagan. I started going to CPAC in 94 when I was in college at George Washington University. And I posted today on Twitter a throwback picture of my speaker's badge from CPAC in 2008. I've been to umpteen CPACs. I have not stepped foot near a CPAC since 2015 for a number of reasons. Once the MAGA forces took over, it was no longer safe for me to go to CPAC, frankly. And so instead, we watch CPAC so you don't have to. Well, over the years, since Matt Schlapp has taken over as the chairman of the American Conservative Union, which is the organization that puts on CPAC, it has changed considerably. As I said, it's now become an international brand. And this year, the attendance is down a little bit. The sponsorships are down a little bit, all because of this, allegedly, because of this scandal that he's under. But the topics and the panels and the people are no less crazy. When you have Marjorie Taylor Greene and Carrie Lake and Trump as your main speakers, it tells you all you need to know. So CPAC has really fallen a lot further than Rick and I could ever imagine from the days that we used to go to CPAC when it was actually something as young conservatives you looked forward to going to. And we wanted to remind you what CPAC used to be like, what type of of people and ideology used to center around CPAC. Here is the debut exclusively for the Breakdown audience tonight of our new ad called Remembering Reagan. Take a look.
In 1974, Ronald Reagan gave the inaugural address of the first CPAC.
May I just say some words?
He called America the last best hope of man on earth. 13 years later, he stood in front of the Berlin Wall.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Today, CPAC is Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Under Republicans, not another penny will go to Ukraine.
CPAC is now the Conservatives for Putin Action Committee.
Yesterday, reporters asked me if I thought President Putin was smart. I said, of course he's smart.
America
is free, and freedom is special and rare.
Or CPAC.
The real problem is that our leaders are dumb.
Which side are you on?
Welcome back, Rick.
The deep state was after my Wi-Fi.
Yeah, of course it is. It's the Chinese spy balloons that are hovering over all of our houses. And, Charlie Kirk says, just look up, you'll see one. For God's sakes. Rick, that ad takes me back to when I used to go to CPAC, and it's usually Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday has the big keynote speaker. And on Thursday and Friday, they usually have these big keynote dinners, and they had the Ronald Reagan dinner, which was supposed, they usually featured people who were either rising stars or potential presidential candidates. It was always a big deal to speak at one of these, to be the keynote at one of these dinners.
No question.
Guess who the Ronald Reagan dinner keynote speaker is? I think it's tonight.
Let me guess. Does she come from a state where she's a losing loser who lost?
Yes, but you can't tell her that. She believes that she won, and it's a conspiracy. And also, QAnon is real. Yes, the one Carrie Lake, the Carrie Filter Lake. She's the featured speaker at the Ronald Reagan dinner. I mean,
That's Vice President Lake to you, Missy.
Yeah, that's right. I don't know. I think Marjorie Taylor Greene may have something to say about that. They're
gonna have a wrestle off to decide which one of them gets Donald's love in the end.
Yeah, I call it the MAGA Mean Girl match. That's what's gonna happen.
There's gonna be a tub of pudding involved.
Right, exactly. It's just, I watched some of it today. Like I said, we've watched it, so you guys don't have to, because we need to hear what these people are saying, because this is not a joke anymore. I mean, we make fun of it because there is so much to make fun of, right, Rick? But this is what dominates the Republican Party base today. And I call them lowlights. You had this guy, Kurt Schlichter, who's a prick. I can't stand him, threatening to kill journalists, calling for journalists to be killed. You have Ted Cruz and J.D. Vance together on the same stage, the two biggest douchebags of the Senate together at one time. I guess they feel like they're the two least liked members of the Senate together.
That's a douchebag singularity.
Yes. They were together on a panel pushing COVID conspiracy theories. That was their whole thing. And then also going after Merrick Garland, saying that he needs to go. They need to get rid of the attorney general because he goes, quote, after peaceful parents and pro-life activists. And he's weaponizing the Department of Justice. I'm sorry, he meant Trump was doing that, right? Not Merrick Garland.
It is an amazing time machine. So many of these idiots have. Earlier this week, Marjorie Three Toes is out saying, "Oh, these fentanyl deaths and that happened to occur under Donald Trump's administration."
Trump. That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Who could have imagined?
Who would have thunk it? And they're going on and on about how all these people are dying from fentanyl overdoses, which is true. It's a tragedy. It's horrible. We need to do something about that in this country. But they seem to forget about the hundreds of thousands of people who died unnecessarily from COVID because these idiots were running around pushing hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin and telling people not to wear masks to protect themselves. And guess what happened? Tens of thousands of people lost their lives.
At CPAC today that the anti-vax stuff, the like we became magnetic after we were vaccinated, and Would you like some free ivermectin? Listen, if I wanted ivermectin, I'd go dig around in the closet in the laundry room and find the old horse medicine first aid kit, because that's the only use for fucking ivermectin, people. It worms horses.
And there's another use for it, because we have it in our cabinet here, because I live on woods, and we have a fox with mange, and we have a very beautiful pregnant fox too. Also, I can't wait for her to have the little babies. They're going to be kids running around, but we have a poor sick fox that my mom puts the ivermectin doses in and puts out to help cure it. It's also used for that. It is not used for freaking people.
It's an antifungal and a wormer, folks.
God, it's so frustrating. And then you had Rick Scott, your senator, out there.
Oh my God, that was the most cringe performance I've ever seen. It's like, laugh at my joke, mortals, or I will destroy you.
Yeah, and he was like, it's 2023 in America, and our country's being destroyed. And you know who's destroying it? Democrats, the president of the United States, and some of our own party senators. Like, he's really, this whole thing that we've been talking about, the split within the Republican Party, it's real, folks. It's real. Rick Scott went up there and accused members of his own party of destroying America in 2023, and then told everyone to go look at his America Rescue Plan at AmericaRescuePlan.org or whatever the hell it was. That's the whole thing that, like,
that audience in that room was, first off, I had trouble seeing the actual number of members in the audience because of so many tumbleweeds blowing by.
Yes, it was.
That room was a huge, huge venue, and Rick Scott couldn't even get like staff and immediate family in that room.
No,
it was creepily empty.
It was. And you know when else it was empty? When there was another panel where Devin freaking Nunes was back. I was like, oh, that guy's back. And they were talking, of course, railing about big tech and social media platforms and all this and how they're against conservatives, blah, blah, blah. And then someone was like, thank God Elon Musk bought Twitter. And it was like, and then Devin Nunes says, well, you know, I did start our own social media company with the one and only President Trump.
Yeah, Devin is not a guy. Let's put it this way: Devin's never been a great performer in any capacity. He's never been a guy where, as they say, anybody throws their panties on the stage while Devin is talking.
Well, look. Listen, we have been watching this, like I said, and shout out to the social media team and the creative folks, because they've come up with some really great stuff to troll the shit out of CPAC. And I want to start off with the first thing, and this got some news coverage actually. It's the trash can tweets. They came up with comparing speakers to trash cans, and that's brilliant. That's the first one. There's a couple others where there we go. You got Trump in the McDonald's trash can. There's like 10 of these, but we're only gonna show you a couple. There you go. You've got Kimberly Guilfoyle and the bedazzled trash can. I think we have another one. Oh my God, this is one of my favorites. Spicer.
So perfect.
Spicer,
so perfect.
Fucking fluorescent green trash can. Do you remember that when he was on Dancing with the
Stars?
Stars?
Yes. Oh, believe you me, I remember that.
Good God. I mean, there were a whole bunch. There was another one with Trump Jr. and
you know, I will have to say, I do have to issue an apology on behalf of the Lincoln Project. In one of those images, we showed a deeply reprehensible character covered in the oil and filth of its natural habitat. It has a repugnant odor. It has got a temperament that is horrific. In other related news, we apologize to Oscar the Grouch. Seb Gorka was also included in that picture.
I thought you were talking about
that one, guys.
I thought you were talking about the Steve Miller one.
No,
that one was really good too. We don't have that, but you can go. It's on the Lincoln Project Twitter.
It'll be on that. It'll be on that.
It's hysterical. All right. One last thing.
Anyway, I just want to also say I just checked the YouTube chat channel. Thank you so much for all the very kind words, everybody, in the YouTube channel. Really appreciate it. We have missed being with you guys, and we're going to be back, banging away on this front in the coming months. And we'll probably, as the campaign gets closer, tick up the number of shows per week. But we've missed you guys, and I just really appreciate how much you folks have stuck with us and encouraged us to come back. We've had a very, very busy election to now,
Yes.
in terms of a lot of stuff the Lincoln Project is getting ready to do in 23 and 24. We've been on the road, like Tara and I have both been on the road like crazy people. And I just wanted to thank you all in the YouTube chat and the other chats right now for your support and your encouragement of this. I'd also like to thank our trolls. We really are so grateful for the trolls in the chat right now, because you really are showing us just what human erectile dysfunction looks like on a political chat. So thank you so much.
Oh my goodness. And
I'm able to fuck with trolls in every fucking context of my life. There's there's no way I can't find a way to poke at them.
That is part of your superpower, right? One of your many superpowers, and I'm here for it. And I'm glad that you acknowledge that too, because just so that everyone knows, we've been getting all of your messages. We read them, we read your emails and your tweets to us. Trust me, we heard you. So that's why we're back, and we're thrilled to be back with you. And I'm glad that, Rick, you took a minute to say that, because I think it's important so that everyone knows we have not forgotten about you. All right, we want to play a quick game real quick before we move on, because we've got to talk about DeSantis and Fox, because Ron DeSantis was not at CPAC, and we have theories as to why. But before we go, I want to move on to DeSantis. We've got to play this game because Kate, our lovely Kate, who is in our creative department, who comes up with lots of fabulous things. Kate has some questions for us to play. It's which of the following was not said at CPAC? Go for it, Kate.
Hi, guys. So our in-house team watches CPAC all day, and these are hard. It's kind of hard to guess what's real and what's not. So let's start the first one. Which of the following is not an actual thing said at CPAC today? Is it A, anyone here believe in God? By the way, in America, you're allowed to believe in God. Is it B, are there any other God-fearing, seeking patriots in this room that refuse to get their Fauci ouchie? Or is it C, do we have any gun-toting, Bible-clinging, patriotic Americans in the room today?
Okay, I have a question before we
attribution for.
I have a question. Was this at today's CPAC or CPAC ever? Today, right?
Today.
Today.
That's correct. It is B.
Yes, because I know Lauren Boebert actually said that stupid Fauci ouchie shit at another CPAC, because I wanted to jump through the screen and strangle her because she's so irritating. And I'm like, Fauci ouchie, what are you, 5? You're a freaking member of Congress. So,
I just want you to comfort yourself, guys, in the knowledge that someday Lauren Boebert will be back in her natural habitat, which is an OnlyFans page,
I knew you were
bad
going
internet connection, and a trailer in some remote, isolated part of Colorado.
Oh God! Next, Kate.
Yes.
Rick.
Is it A, has anybody watched the Academy Awards or Super Bowl halftime show lately, or did you keep your children away from it because it was beneath dignity? It was not what God had in mind when he created us in his image. Is it B, transgender Antifa communists are bursting through the doors of our schools and demanding your children be indoctrinated through drag story hour? Or is it C, they're passing these babies into the toilet, fully formed babies, 12, 14, 16 weeks along in the pregnancy. They're looking in the toilet and they're seeing their fully formed baby in the toilet.
I've got to go with transgender Antifa communists.
I think it was A.
Well, Rick got it.
B.
Boom.
Come on, I know you guys have been to some CPACs in your day.
Listen, guys, here's the thing. The portmanteau, though, is perfect. It's Transtifa.
Right.
That's the transgender wing of Antifa.
But I could swear that they said that at
the militant transgender wing of Antifa.
Right. No, they had 2 segments today with these parents about like taking back their kids and the pitchfork parents. So I thought for sure that was in there. But all right,
oh yeah.
Well, Kate and Selkowitz, is there one more?
There's one more.
Make it quick.
Is it A, there are first graders being asked to write book reports arguing in favor of the Communist Manifesto? Is it B, they're teaching kindergartners how to stimulate themselves? Or is it C, they think kids should be able to change their gender at recess?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Because there's a lot of gender stuff going on at this CPAC.
I know.
I'm going to go with A.
A, me too.
Very good. Very good. That's how I know
you
you guys are
CPAC.
seasoned
Tara
pros.
and I are like anthropologists of these people.
Yeah, we've seen a few of them.
I love that everybody's playing along in the chat. That's fantastic.
Yes. Kate, you are the best. Thank you so much. And I just want you to know that Kate got that together for us in like an hour. So she's the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Kate. We'll see you again next time.
She's the best. So you know who's not the best, Rick? Ron DeSantis and his freaking boots. By the way, more trolling. Shout out to Brandon, our Twitter guy who put out the boots memes today. Killing it.
The boot memes would not quit today. I don't know if you guys saw this. I mean, everybody saw the white boots. In Florida, we call those Carabel Nikes. Now, Carabel is a fishing town. And the fishermen wear those white boots.
That's right.
But he was wearing those white boots after the hurricane. And then they show a picture of this guy wearing these platform cowboy boot Elton John fucking
from like the 80s.
I'm like, come on, dude.
It's
These
so
are like
bad.
worse than Marco's little Toledo heels.
Yeah, not the Toledo heels.
Corridor, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm only good at buying exotic high-priced boots.
Oh my gosh. But yeah. But anyway, so we have been obviously pointing out the fact that Ron DeSantis isn't there. A bunch of other people aren't there either. Pence isn't there. McCarthy's not there. Elise Stefanik is there, of course, because of course. But DeSantis isn't. Why, Rick? I mean, I called him out and said he was scared, right? It was a pretty weak move, Mr. Swagger with the white boots running around on his book tour around the country. He's found everywhere to be except for CPAC. Why? Why, Rick?
You know, here it is, and I've said this a couple times. Ron DeSantis has a carefully crafted image as a tough guy, as a badass, as Billy Badass. He's the guy who's going to take on everybody. I'm going to fight with whoever gets in my way, and I will always win. He did not want to go to CPAC and have Donald Trump stomp his fucking guts out live on stage. He would never get over it. It would be the end. This is why he is avoiding saying the T word. This is why he's running like a scalded dog from anything having to do with a challenge to Trump. All of these candidates, Nikki Haley, Mike Pompeo, Mike Pence, Prince Ronald the Delicate, all of them, every single one of them is convinced that Donald Trump will drop dead of a stroke or be eaten by a wild dog or a rock will fall on his head. They all have this fantasy.
Weird fantasy, yeah.
Something will happen. Hi, welcome back to 2015 and 2016, guys.
Exactly.
Where literally, Jeb's people say like, well, he's gonna die soon. Or he'll say something so outrageous that he'll be out of the campaign.
We've been there already. Been there, done that.
John McCain wasn't a hero.
Right.
Make fun of the handicap report. Any of those things disqualify Trump? No.
Didn't matter.
Nothing's going to disqualify him.
He's in a love affair. He's in a throuple with Putin and Kim Jong-un, for God's sakes, and took their side, took Putin's side over our intelligence community, and Republicans didn't care. So, I mean, really? But, of course, we had to give the Ron DeSantis absence from CPAC, the Lincoln Project treatment.
And he's not happy about this ad.
Oh,
folks.
he's not happy about this.
Pissed off.
Good.
Governor Ron DeSantis talks tough.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is your governor speaking. The rules of engagement are as follows. Never, ever back down from a fight.
But this is his idea of fighting for support at CPAC this week.
Oh my God.
Never not a classic.
Exactly. But you know where he is, Rick? He's at the Club for Growth donor meeting in Palm Beach this week.
Of course he is.
Yeah.
You know, I want to say one other thing about Ron DeSantis's book.
Oh God. What is it? Courage to Be Free? What is the hell is it called?
Of 7 people. And folks, if you go and read just the New York Times review of the book, if I had a book review written about one of my books that was like that was that savage, I would change my name.
Yeah, it was pretty
I
brutal.
would run and live in another country under an assumed name. Whoo-wee.
Yeah. Well, we all know that this is just an excuse so that when he's traveling around the country preparing to run for president, he does it under the guise of a freaking book tour. This is so typical of what all these people do when they're going to run. This is like they write the book, they go on the book tour, which is really an exploratory committee. It's just also pro forma with these people.
And it's so cliched that it's no surprise to me that he's doing it exactly this way, because the people advising him are the most conventional wisdom, basic bitch, Ugg boot, pumpkin spice latte candidate consultants that you could ever hope to meet.
And those are the ones who aren't his wife.
Right.
So I think what we're going to do in our next breakdown in 2 weeks is we're going to focus on DeSantis, right, Rick? I know that we wanted to do a DeSantis focused breakdown because it's really important for us to tear him apart limb by limb and before he even runs, because this guy is not the future. I just saw today that you've got this Florida state senator that's introducing a bill so that to fine bloggers if they don't register with the state to cover the governor.
It's him named Jason Broder, and I know Jason slightly. He's got a bill in the Senate where it will make anyone who wants to write or speak online about Governor Ronald the Delegate or any elected cabinet member or any member of the legislature, that they have to register with the state of Florida to get a license to speak or write online, either opinion or news about the governor. Now, it exempts newspapers per se, but the vast majority of people who tweet could be considered to have violated this rule. Let me tell you, Jason, it is so flagrantly unconstitutional that it's going to be incinerated in the first court it hits. But in the meantime, I have now got you in my sights, Jason. So I'm going to drag your fucking ass a lot.
Yep. And he can take that $2,500 fine and shove it up his ass because it's never happening. We only have a couple minutes left because I know, Rick, you have to hop and go do MSNBC, I believe.
I've got Joy Reid at 7:45.
Yes. I'm scheduled to do her tomorrow night at 7. So they love us over there. Shout out to MSNBC. But before we go, I just want to touch quickly on what's going on with Fox News and this Dominion scandal. It's been all over the news all week. Everywhere except Fox News, because they put basically a blackout order. They can't talk about it, which is insane. So for the people who need to hear it the most, that Fox News basically lied to their entire viewing audience during the post-election in 2020, the whole election fraud stuff, and leading up to January 6th, which was Fox News was responsible for a lot of that, spreading those lies. Why? Because they were afraid of losing viewers to Newsmax and OANN. And Rupert Murdoch's deposition was made public, and he basically admitted that all the hosts knew. Hannity, Tucker, Ingram, they all thought Rudy Giuliani and Sidney Powell and the Pillow Guy were all fucking nuts because they were, but they did it anyway for the green. And as a result of this is one of the biggest media scandals in history. And it's insane that millions of people who watch Fox who are being duped by their bullshit are not going to hear this. But we at the Lincoln Project will tell you the truth where Fox won't. And I want to show you guys our latest ad on this about how Fox lied.
Rupert Murdoch thinks Fox viewers are stupid. He told us Fox stood with Trump, stood with America, that Fox was the mega network. But behind their backs, he was laughing. Rupert admits he knew from the start that the stolen election lie was a joke. A con. A fraud. A fraud he pulled on Donald Trump, the mega base, and the Fox audience. The people he made into mega heroes, off the air, they called them liars. Kooks and crazies. Fox knew they were lying, but made millions tricking their viewers. Rupert knew the election wasn't stolen and told you it was. Sean and Tucker and Laura knew. Everyone at Fox knew. They lied and kept lying, even when it led to violence and death. That's Fox News, and that's the truth.
Rick, you get the final word. 30 seconds before you got to hop.
We will not let off of Fox. They are the agitprop network at the center of a gigantic, cancerous authoritarian movement in this country. They don't like the fact that we're calling them out. These simple words, tough shit, should be the answer to anyone who confronts them. They have contempt for America and contempt for their own viewers. With that, folks, we will see you again in 2 weeks.
Indeed, we shall.
And I'm on the road all next week, and Tara's on the road all next week.
But that's okay. We're on the road fighting for democracy and having fun, fighting for freedom and having fun. And in the meantime, you can check out Rick's podcast, The Enemies List, which is kicking ass, by the way. So make sure you check out Rick's podcast as well.
I recorded 4 interviews today for that podcast.
Oh my God, Rick, you are a machine. I know. Go do your hit, have a nap, and we'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
Once again, thank you everybody for sticking with us. We will see you again in 2 weeks and go on from there.